What do you do or say to get your spouse to change a destructive behavior?
I would say if a person has a destructive behavior, or your spouse has a destructive behavior, like Rabbi Ribikov said, accepting responsibility for this, but very often that means getting professional help. And I think there's a tendency sometimes to be afraid, maybe there's the stigma of getting help, but not getting help is much, I'll keep going, more painful for you, for your spouse, for your children, than getting the help. And it's much better to bite the bullet and go to the therapist, go to speak to the rabbi, whoever it might be that can help you. Realize that whatever embarrassing thing you're going through, the therapist or rabbi, if he's any good, has heard much more embarrassing things than anything you can come up with, and get help. But I want to just give a closing remark that I think connects in general to Shalom Bayit, which is very often I see couples who, not consciously, but ultimately become a victim of their circumstance. And I'll see couples, and specifically it was a couple that I was talking to recently, who were at the brink of divorce after being married for many years. And after listening to both of them, I realized that each one of them was playing the victim card in the bigger way. And each one of them was saying, in this and this and this area, I'm the bigger victim. And the other spouse was saying, I'm the bigger victim. And it was like a competition of who's going to be the bigger victim. And each one was saying to me in their own way, if he or she will come meet me halfway, then of course I want this marriage to work. But how can I do that when he doesn't appreciate me, she did this to me, she wasn't, all these different situations. And I think there's a very powerful message that you see in the Parshas Vayigash with Yosef and his brothers, that when Yosef reveals himself to the brothers, he says to them, I am Yosef, who you sold to Egypt. But then he says, and the words of the pasuk in the next 3 psukim, it says it 3 different times, that I was sent to Egypt. And he goes, I was sent by Hashem. And Yosef had a conscious choice that he made to look at himself as I'm here as a messenger, I'm here on a mission, and not that I'm a victim of my circumstances and a victim of my situation. If Yosef had chosen to be the victim, he never would have gotten out of where he got out of, and never would have become what he became. And I think it's a very, very important message to all of us to, in every challenge that we're faced with, to look at the situation and say, I'm not going to be a victim of this situation, but I'm going to look at this as a challenge, as an opportunity to become the best person that I can be. I literally had a couple once, many years ago, a guy said to me, Rabbi, I did not marry my bashert. I didn't marry my match. I said, how do you know? He said, because it's so hard for us to understand each other. Hashem loves me so much. Why would he have me marry someone that's hard for me to understand? And the reality is that every situation in life, we say marriage is the science laboratory for personal growth, for working in ourselves, becoming the best person that we can be. And B'ezrat Hashem, as we work on ourselves, work together, we can bring tremendous shalom bayit.